Hello, hello, and welcome to the Fear to Freedom Project. I am your host and the creator of this amazing channel. I am Deborah. And every month, we spotlight a beautiful soul from around the world who is bringing their unique medicine to our world. And I am so happy today to be bringing not only like the guru of self-love, but also my coach. So I'm going to bring her in on the stage. And we have the lovely Abiola Abrams with us today. Hello, Goddess Abiola.
Hello, Goddess Deborah, Goddess Dr. Deborah. We are in the house and we are doing this.
Yes, we are in the house. I am so excited to have you here. And I want people to know just who you are. And Abiola Abrams is an intuitive self-worth coach and an award-winning author who empowers people to find freedom from their personal fears, manifest their authentic power, and align with their purpose. She is the author of the African Goddess Initiation, Sacred Rituals of Self-Love, Prosperity, and Joy. She has two best-selling oracle decks, African Goddess Rising and The Secrets of the Ancestors. And now it is three because one just dropped. She is my self-love womb manifesting coach. She has just released a new book, From Imagination to Reality. That's the secret manifestation lessons from Master Alchemist Abdullah. And guess what? The long-awaited oracle deck that just dropped, the Faces of Oshun. And trust me, most importantly, she is little Ruby's mommy. I welcome you so much to the Fear to Freedom Project. Thank you for taking the time to stop by here with me. This is a dream come true for me. It is.
It's a dream for me too. You know, I feel like that's the best intro that I feel like I've gotten at the trial or period. Like that's like, yes.
Yes, you are. I'm going to tell you, I have to tell people like how I even got to you. And I heard one of the sisters who came into the group said, something just kept coming, in my email and in my feed. And that's a testament to you. And something kept rolling down my feed about self-love, self-love. And I was living in Panama at the time. And my daughter had given me a permission slip to use the Oracle cards, Oracle decks, because I was not raised that way. I was raised as a Christian. I'm a recovering Christian. So I'm like, what? I can use Oracle decks. And I'm telling you, it is this deck right here. It is this deck that gave me the truth, the insight, and connected me to the other side. And my ancestors, man, I started calling them with this deck. But you know what this deck did for me? It allowed me to take a look at myself. I could not ever focus on the outside anymore. I was actually even questioning them. I'm like, what are you talking about here? But it was all about me. So thank you so much. This is the first deck.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And much love to your daughter. Like, what an amazing, brave daughter you raised to be able to own her voice and step on the leading edge and step into her truth in that way.
Yes, and say, Mommy, you can do it. She taught me how to make an altar. She told me what to say, call your ancestors known and unknown who have evolved. She told me all of it. So, yes. So, you know what? I want to get right into
wait, I have a question first.
Okay.
Well, we hung out a lot, obviously, but I don't know your daughter's name, and I want to know her name because I'm Ruby's mommy, so I want to know your daughter's name.
It is Akila Brianna.
Akila's mommy, Akila Brianna. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Akila. Hi, Akila.
Yes. She is such a star seed. I'm telling you, she was born for me. She chose me. So I'm so grateful because that opened up. It gave me permission. It was my permission slip. So, and it's opened my world up. So I want to know who little Abiola was. Who was Abiola before she was like this guru of self-love?
So people would probably say, my aunts say where they say I was exactly the same like I am now. And so, I had a lot of fears and insecurities, but I guess that I probably learned at an early age how to mask them or hide them, because they didn't see any of that when I was growing up. They all, like, when I asked them who was I, they just say, they say I was always like bright, shiny, smiling, laughing, helping everybody else laugh, and all of that sort of thing. And so I have like distinct memories. Like I remember having like a kitchen set. Like I just bought my daughter a kitchen set. She's very excited about it. I remember having the refrigerator, and like, my parents or whoever gave me this little refrigerator being excited about it. And I turned it on its side and turned it into a desk. And I was like, okay, I turned it on the side, and then when you open it up like this, I can put my books inside of it. And
I love it.
On the top. So I remember that. And then I remember also with my best friend Ginger, who I grew up with. We grew up, across the street from each other, and we were best friends. And I remember her and I making up clubs. Like we would like make up people and be like, okay, we're gonna have a club. It's the girls club, it's this club, it's that club. So it's the same, it's like the same work, it's the same thing. And then a little bit later, as a teen, I was a rapper in an all-girls group with my friend Deborah, and Debbie and we were in a group called FBC, Females Beyond Control. FBC, Giselle, and I was Dimples, she's Giselle. And so, as like a girl group rapper, Females Beyond Control, it's the same. Again, it's like the same thing, right? Like it's like, like it's the same thing, so showing up and being, a girl rapper, or turning the fridge on its side and pretending it's a desk, or starting clubs with, my girl Ginger, but even though like with a lot of like, the stress and the strife and all of that I can look back on, like a lot of things, I also look back on a lot of joys. I grew up, like probably like, 90% of Black girls in America with my beads and my braids, my click-clack beads, and, Saturday morning, get my hair pressed in the kitchen and jumping double dutch and, all of those things, that were a big part of my childhood, that now raising a little girl that I'm excited to make sure those things continue and that those things don't go by the wayside,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? I followed your YouTube. I'm like, it's so funny because when I was using this deck and using the rituals and doing the rituals, I didn't know what I was doing, but I know how to read and follow directions. So I was doing it, putting it in books, putting it under my bed, whatever it said do, I was doing it. But one thing is I did not join the groups or anything because you were like the goddess of self-love. Like you're a goddess, you're this, you're that. And I didn't feel that. And so I was not ready to be a part of your group. At least I knew. I was honest. I've always been very honest. But I said, a goddess? How am I a goddess? Because I was living all in my shame, And so today I'm just so happy that I am, I'm a part of your group and I am one of your students. And so all of that shame and doubt has been removed. And I was like, let me ask her. I'm sitting here like, I'm going to ask her because I've been looking back at her timeline and you have been like, yes, we are the goddess of self-love. Just like your aunties are like, no, you've been doing that all this time. And I thought, what has she been afraid of? And what fear did she have? And you know what? This is a book. From imagination to reality. You guys need to go out, run and get this book. It's going to be great. It is awesome. And I have my bookmark here. So I'm like, what is she afraid of? And I opened up and it was already there. It's the walk and the shift. I have to read this because you were going to Tony Robbins. He was having a seminar and he does a fire walk. Yes. And I saw that. I thought, thinking to myself, like, who's going to walk on coal? Who's going to walk on fire? And I have to read this. Everyone needs to hear because a shift happened. And you were afraid. You said you had given yourself permission to say, no, I'm going to pass on this. And but when you got there, something happened. And you said, I took that first step onto the glowing embers. Something magical happened. Fear disintegrated. The fire under my feet, the distant cheers, and the beat of my heart merged into one symphony, one song, one verse, universe. I was immersed in the experience, one with the spark. My ancestors were right there with me, feeling the heat, the exhilaration, the transcendence. I wasn't thinking of the next step, I was the step. Before I knew it, I had crossed to the other side unscathed. My state had shifted from fear to limitless possibilities. Talk about that.
Oh
That
my,
moved me.
yes, yes. I mean, it moves me as well, and I lived it. Um, that experience for me was really transformational, and a lot of the fears that I had are a lot of inherited fears. You know, my parents grew up with nothing, with next to nothing, even though, the beautiful thing I think that is that my mom says that she didn't know that she had nothing, until she got older and compared it to other people because of the love. But we can't, if we don't heal something, we pass it on. So I inherited a lot of beliefs of lack, of less than, of, I was honored enough, everything is a double-edged sword. So, my parents were able to get me scholarships to go to really good schools, but then being the only Black girl in the class, or, in certain classes, or only 2 or 3 of us, I had a lot of issues around like my skin and my hair, and, my body type was different. This is like pre-Kardashians or pre-J-Lo. And so, as, a lot of young Black girls do, my body started to develop, in ways that, the men in my community didn't make me feel safe. They didn't make me feel protected. They started to react to me, in a way like I was an adult, and things like that made me feel just very, very insecure. And it was a lot of different little steps and little sparks of light up until that moment. So that moment was a catalyst, but there was a lot that was poured in before that moment. And so, very interestingly enough, and I haven't shared this before, there's a Dr. Deborah, Goddess Deborah exclusive right here. Although I've been doing goddess circles for a very, very long time, for 20 plus years. In the beginning, probably, up until very close to that Tony Robbins moment, I didn't feel comfortable calling myself goddess either, even though I was referring to other women as goddess. And I was holding the circles and calling everybody goddess, but not calling myself goddess, because what would that mean? I didn't want to seem vain. I didn't want to seem, who do I think I am? All of those things, all of those, all the things. And so I feel like at that moment, it was my ancestors taking my hand and saying, come on, girl. Come on, girl. Let's go. Let's go. And it's still, and it's a work in progress. Like at this moment, like I feel beautiful. I feel talented. I feel abundant. I feel accomplished. I feel in love with myself and my life. But that doesn't mean that we're still human beings in earth school. So I'm looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this makeup looks ashy, or this looks whatever, but like little things like that. But none of that matters. None of that matters, that for me, like, it's like, okay, I'm walking in my truth. And that feels like oh my gosh, this is going to sound crazy, but
it's not. Say it.
Get it. I just feel so empowered. Like I feel goddess embodiment. Like at this moment, I feel like my ancestors and I are a majority. And I feel like I am, I am their daughter doing what they brought me forward to do. And I'm so proud of that. Like I'm so proud of that. And because of that, like, it's like, that there's nothing that any mortal human can say to me that would bring me harm in this moment, because I know that I stand as 10,000 truly.
Yes, you do. You are the embodiment of it, goddess. Yes, you are.
But here's the other part of it, that it's not just me, that when I look at you, because I can see that in me, I know that it's true for you and other human beings, the other people that I'm honored to interact with. I look at you and I see also with you, you come as one, but you stand as 10,000. And oh my goodness, how amazing that we are able to connect not only with us, but our ancestors in the background in ways that we're not even aware of, going, hey girl, hey Iris, is that you? I remember you back, girl, that's you. We were back there. I remember when we were back there in Nigeria, we would do that. Girl, that's you. I didn't know Deborah was yours. Abiola's mine. Here we go.
I love that.
Let's bring these kids together and let them do this podcast thing, and let's see what's gonna happen out of this.
Yes, Abiola, I'm telling you, this is the truth. And before you came, I got up this morning. I'm like, oh my God, I felt like, and maybe this might sound weird, but I felt like I was coming to meet myself as you. That's what I felt. I was like, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I am getting ready to meet me, because that's what I heard the ancestors say. You're getting ready to meet yourself. You see, you're in her. She's in you. Yes, that's what I felt. So I was so excited. I was talking to my goddess sisters in the circle. I'm like, oh my God, I'm nervous. And they're like, you got this, you got this. I would be too. And they have just been so supportive. I really love you. I do.
Thank you. I love you too. And just to let you know just what a leader that you are, in so many ways, that you just spark off so many things and walk in your leadership. And I've told you this before, that you've inspired me to say I'm going to say to the circle, hey, Goddess Deborah did it. If you want to interview me, I will come on your show. Like, come on. I want to just get the word out. Whoever, come on.
Yes, we have to. Yes. Well, I feel like we got to share you with the world, because you're doing that, and you're such an example. You are an amazing example of self-love, of goddessness, of I can do it. I am it. Yes, the empowerment, like you have given me that. I want to ask you this. When did you know that your ancestors had dreamt of you being the one that healed the bloodline?
Oh my gosh. That's an interesting question, because I honestly, I don't think that it's just me. I think that it's me and other people in my family that are healing the bloodline also in their own different ways. So I may be the most visible person, but I feel like we are all, little sparks and points, of brilliance, each in our own ways. So maybe my auntie with the recipes, she was healing in a different way, and so it's little bits and little and different ways. And one of the things that just came to mind is, I remember, the first ancestor who I had a relationship with was my grandmother, whose name was Eve. And I lost her when I was in college on a Thanksgiving when she died. And right before that, before I lost her, I'd lost a friend of mine. So I went to back-to-back funerals. A friend of mine who died due to gun violence, drug violence. This is in the 90s. I grew up in New York. And so, I had a lot of people, I saw my beautiful neighborhood, of hardworking Black folks. I saw it, and not at the time I wasn't aware of it, but now looking back, I saw it go from, this beautiful neighborhood, which it has returned to, a lot of families being destructed due to, the crack epidemic and, a lot of those different things. And I think coming out of that and feeling like, okay, just having survived all of that, I felt like, okay, I have an obligation to something. I didn't know what it was at that point, but I really felt like, I heard the words, to whom much has been given, much is required. I heard those words in a form, okay, you are required to do something, because a lot of folks, are not making it. A lot of folks, are all kinds of stuff, dealing with and falling off. So you got to do something. You got to represent. you got to represent for all these folks
For
somehow.
everyone. Yes.
And yes, and so that I felt very clearly. And now, because I come from a very big family, and so that's why I wouldn't say like I'm a one or anything like that, because both of my grandparents had like around 10 kids apiece, and so I have a lot of first cousins. I have a huge family, and then my father has a lot of children as well. He had a lot of children before he came to this country and became a citizen, and so because of that, I feel like, I'm honored to be able to have my voice on a bit of a bigger platform, but also this is a time of rising. It's a moment of rising. And for people like you and I who are on the forefront of it, it is also a time of the reawakening of the divine feminine, a reclamation as we see, a destruction of old ideas, towers falling, not literally the towers, but, the old guard falling, and something better will be rebuilt in its place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The old structures, the old beliefs about ourselves, that old paradigm is no more. And I feel new and awakened. And I want to talk about your book. This book, From Imagination to Reality. And so I use this book. I challenge myself, of course, because I was listening to you on a podcast and because you are my coach. She is coaching me. I love it. Because of that, I heard you give a charge to show up for yourself. Like, if you don't hide anymore, you can be visible. So if that means that you have to go on your YouTube or go on your camera every day for 30 days, and I did it. And I used this book because I was like, what am I going to talk about? And I was reading this book, the book came and I'm like, oh my God, like I can actually move from imagination, and that my reality is up to me. It's based on what I think about myself, how I see myself. And so this is what I use for the first 30 days. And listen, if you are new to this channel, you should like and subscribe and set your notifications, because look what's happening. You are going to get a wealth of knowledge and support here. But I'd like for you to tell us who Abiola is, because I know Neville, but I didn't know Abiola.
So I'm so proud of this book, and this book, I do feel, again, talk about the word chosen and selected. I do feel chosen and selected by great ancestor Abiola to bring this knowledge forward. And so the book, From Imagination to Reality. So I'll just start for people who may not even be familiar with Neville. So Neville Goddard, about 100 years ago, in New York City, was at the forefront of what at that time was called the New Thought movement. And he taught people who taught people who taught people, all of us who talk about manifestation and personal empowerment and personal development and shifting the paradigm today. These are ideas that Neville Goddard and a lot of other teachers, but he was the most well-known of them, became famous for in the middle part of the last century. And so Neville was a teacher of what he called the law of assumption. And he happened to go on tour and do a lot of video seminars. So that is why we are able to have his knowledge, because in audio seminars, a lot of the other teachers didn't get to be recorded or write books to pass their knowledge on. One of the other things that Neville did that was brilliant is that he said, if anyone is at the seminar, you are free to record him in any way or take notes. And a lot of teachers didn't do that because they were afraid of their materials being stolen. They were afraid of losing their intellectual property. But he said, no, I want to get the word out there. Feel free to record me. Feel free to take notes. And so because of that, there's a wealth of his voice out there. The teacher of Neville Goddard was a man named Abiola. Neville Goddard's teacher was a Black Ethiopian mystic who taught Christianity. He taught Kabbalism. He was a rabbi. He was a brilliant mystic who taught everything from telepathy to manifesting and lived in Manhattan. Yes, and by all accounts died when he was around 100 and something years old. Yeah, back in
Really?
yes, yes. And so he personally did not write any books, but he was the teacher of Neville and other New Thought teachers around that time. And so this beautiful book, From Imagination to Reality, was a download, a channeling of Neville's of Abdullah's teachings through his using the primary sources of those who he taught. And so it was really exciting to bring forward his wisdom. And I just feel so connected with him. And this book, it's so interesting, you know, and I've shared this before. When I went into the booth, I didn't really even like writing the book, handing in the book, all of that, because it is a channeled work. I still, you know, didn't, and I believe all creative works are channeled works, but this is the first one that is a fully channeled work. It's not, you know, I wouldn't take credit for it being my teachings that originated with me. You know, when I went into the booth to record the audiobook, I had so much fun because it was so inspiring reading it. It was like I was reading it for the first time. I was like, oh, this is good. Oh,
yes, it's juicy. It's good. Yes, juicy, juicy.
And so the sequel actually to that book, named The Divine Frequency, comes out in June. And so the law, this book focuses on the law of assumption. You know, a lot of us know about the law of attraction, but the law of assumption is even more powerful. There are many different universal laws. And Oprah is the first person that I heard say that. And I went and did research at that time when she said that. And so the divine frequency actually will be, you know, expanding on the universal laws, but not in the way that we're usually taught them. We're usually taught the universal laws from the point of view of just the Hermetic laws and teachings. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for me, the way that, you know, my work is set up, it is all about bringing back and reclaiming the ancestral knowledge of indigenous peoples around the globe that I am descended from. So that's African people, people of Native American descent, all of, you know, so this book teaches the universal laws, but using as a basis the teachings that come from the diverse communities around the globe.
I think that's beautiful.
Laws. Yes.
Yes, it is beautiful. And I have a girlfriend, she's a channel, and she was a part of my spiritual awakening. And she often channels my ancestors. And so it's good to see. I knew we were always taught about, we're from Africa. You know, my mother said that, like, we're not from here. She would give us a little bit about that. But my grandmother is Native American. And so, but we were not given that history of our lineage. And my grandmother is so present. And so, you know, I was just told by another channel, I don't know, I was somewhere listening to something, and she said, you have a grandmother that is, from your Native American side, and there's also grandmother that is very present with you from your African side. And so I was so excited about that, because that history was not given to us. It actually was stolen from us. And so you are bringing information and that reality to us. You're making it tangible so that we can connect with it and feel good about connecting with it. So I really honor you for that. And I can't wait to I love a good book. Okay. I'm always reading a good book. I want to you to
wait, I'm feeling called to tell you something. Goddess Dr. Deborah. It would be very, very powerful when you write your next book, when you write your book, that if you had, you know, the African and the Native American teachings, you know, either half or on one page and then the other, you know, bringing forward like the knowledge and the teachings, I think that would be really powerful.
I receive that, and I am going to do it. because that has just been brought to me just recently. Like, because
Ooh,
I've been searching, like, I've been asking, I've been talking to them. So thank you, because my first book is being written. It's all about fear. I am going to travel the world to talk about fear. I
yeah,
really am,
yeah,
because it's something that has been holding, that it held me back. And now, I got up this morning, I'm like, I'm gonna pull some cards for myself. So of course I
yes,
pulled from the deck of Oshun, and that's Oshun the machete. And then
yes,
I went and I got Risk It All. I had to pull from
yes,
my ancestral deck. And
yes,
then I got Total Surrender. Total Surrender.
woo!
Yeah, from the goddess African. And I feel all of it. I feel all of it. I am risking it all, goddess. I am.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
not holding back this time anymore.
Hold up. I want you to show them those cards again, and I'm going to show them the boxes so that they know what that's from. So this is Faces of Oshun Oracle. And so what is powerful about you pulling, let me just show you the connection between the cards that you pulled. So this is from this deck, yes. And then go ahead, show them Risk It All.
Risk it all.
Risk It All from
Is
Secrets of
from
the Ancestors Oracle. And then show them the third card that you pulled. And so the first and third cards that she pulled, so that's Goddess Iset. Wait, hold it up. Um, who is also known as Isis, and from African Goddess Rising Oracle. So the first and third cards that you pulled, the Oshun card that you pulled, that is the only Oshun card that is in the deck that I tied her together with Egyptian lineage. If you look at the if you look at the card, you see the Egyptian iconography there, because I wanted
yes.
to draw that through line and make that connection.
That's
And so that's so powerful that yes. And let me just add another thing. I'm working on, it's right here, like on my screen right here. I just last night finished putting together a small guide that I'm going to give out for free. That's about how to use all three decks together. And look, you're doing it.
I'm always using the decks. I can listen. I have so much gratitude for this deck. This is the first deck that I ever used, and because I'm Deborah and because I'm skeptical, I
Yeah.
was trying to switch those cards and change and manipulate things. I honestly was, and I was like, you can't do it. You cannot trick the spirit. You can't trick wisdom. And every time I tried to do it, the cards came back, and I was like this.
Yep. Yep.
I was sitting,
Yep.
yeah, by myself, like, whoa, okay,
You
this
were
is.
shuffling,
I think
shuffling.
I got a little scared too.
Yes, it is the scary at first, because you're like, okay, I don't want that, and it'll come right back to you. It's like, wow, okay.
I know I got to be conscious of our time, but I want you to talk about your new deck here, Faces of Oshun.
Yes,
I was on pre-order, and I'm telling you, when it dropped, the Amazon truck was right outside that day, and I was like, look at this. This is amazing. And so I
oh
can't
my
wait
God.
I've been just kind of been on the roll, and I did pull the card, but I like to sit with the decks and get intimate with them. And I
Yeah,
haven't so much yet, but I can't wait to do it. Can you
yeah.
talk about this deck?
Yes.
Yes, what went into it?
Oshun is a force of nature. She is an Orisha that represents the divine feminine in all forms. And from including, the shadow aspects, the things that we try to stuff down and hide and resist and hold back on. So she is sweetness and honey, but like all of us, she's got
You got the
the
machete.
she's got the machete energy in there as well, the vulture energy in there as well. And so this deck also is it's an awakening, and it's a call home for the divine feminine. It's a sacred tool for us to be able to reclaim and reawaken within us the things that she represents, which is love in all forms, including romantic love, agape love, romantic love, which is abundance in all forms, abundance of joy, abundance of power, abundance of riches and abundance of money, finances. She represents health and well-being and feeling good about yourself. She is a protector of women and children, and it is wonderful. This is beautiful, like ancestral completion work for me to bring forward this deck. I've had a very long relationship with her that goes back also decades. And as her daughter, that this is beautiful for me to be able to share this work. I'm just so honored, so honored. And it's just I've produced a lot of things. Like you said, you've been on my YouTube channel. You can see, like I've been doing this. Like,
girl, you are dated. You are dated, girl.
I'm not new to this. I am definitely true to this. Like, you can look back and see I've been doing this, and this is one of the my favorite things that I have ever had the opportunity to bring forward. And so I am honored. Yeah.
Well, I am happy that you are heeding the call, that you're listening, that you're open to your ancestors, that you're open to your gifts, that you are not selfish, that you are here not just for Abiola, but for the collective, for humanity. You are serving in such a huge way, and you are giving us permission to tap into the greatness that we are and to serve in such a huge way. You're giving us all permission. You're doing it with love and with ease. And I went to one of your retreats, and it was stateside. And every retreat that I had seen, it was out of the country.
Yeah.
So this is back, a few years ago when I got introduced to your work. And here I am, while I was living out of the country, I'm back now stateside for a while, and I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And a retreat came up that you were coming an hour and a half away from me to Boone, North Carolina. I was like, I'm going. This is for me.
That was for you.
Yes, my ancestors did this for me. This is what I said in my head. They did this for me. And it was a snow blizzard, Abiola.
Blizzard in the mountains. Don't forget, we were in the mountains.
In the mountains, like going up the hill like this. And I'm telling you, my ancestors pushed that Toyota Avalon up the hill. I was stuck a little bit. Even my daughter Akila, she has my location or something, and I got turned around and stuck a little bit, and she called and she said, "I see you. You're almost there." I'm like, "I know this." She's like, "I got some tracker thing, right?" And she coached me and the other goddess, and the car was, when I say inching, the wheels would. It was just like we were literally 5 minutes from the top, but it took us another 30 minutes because of the snow. And she cheered me on up that hill until we got there. It was nothing that could stop me from getting there. Everybody's like, "It's going to be some snow." Yeah, I know, but I'm supposed to be there. And that snow's not going to, it's not going to, I just didn't feel encumbered. I felt like my ancestors were like, "You're going, you're going to be there." And I was there, and I released a lot of shame up there, and you cradled me in your arms like I was Ruby.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I love you for that. Thank you. You didn't know me from Adam, but you knew me, and you cradled me. And all of the 21 women also cradled from their spaces, and we were able to release and be free of things, at least start that healing. And I really thank you for that. I really do. It meant a lot to my soul. It really did. And so I really thank you. I mean, I have to get that out. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, you are welcome.
Well, yes, you're the greatest, and I appreciate you. I'm being conscious of time here, so I'm going to move into, I don't want to go without saying something about the ancestral deck. So the secrets of the ancestors deck. Quickly, what made you go to this deck? Like, how did you channel that?
So first of all, thank you for seeing your light in me. I want to just say that. Thank you for seeing your own light reflected in me. I really am humbled and I appreciate that. Um, this deck, I feel it was very interesting because there's this awesome woman named Goddess Verona who does exactly what you're doing. She is a Black woman in the UK who has a show named Ancestral Voices. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. You will love it. So I was on her show. I've done her show a couple of times, and she said to me, "Well, Abiola, I know you're Miss Goddess. You're all about the goddesses, but what about the men? What about the men? Where are the male ancestors in it?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely. You know, much love to the male ancestors, but that's somebody else's work. You know, this is my work." And then I swear, Goddess never was 24 hours till the male ancestors started coming to me and saying, "Well, no, it's our time."
I love it.
And I felt
hear you.
I come from, you know, like a lot of us, a very strong woman-led family. You know, a lot of matriarchs in my family, a lot of, you know, very powerful women in my family in their different ways. And you know, the you know, the male ancestors were like, okay, no, you know, we want in. Basically, we got something to say. We got ways to ride you. Only right, you know. And so
I am so glad that you did that because the male ancestors are very present. And I'm going to tell you that Father Fire,
yes,
the Father of Fire,
yes,
this ancestor is my ancestor. And this ancestor came through for me. And I felt all of the energy. I felt it when I was sitting here. And I told you I have a best sister friend that is a Chandler. And, you know, one day she came here and she said, there's a Father Fire that came to me. And I was like,
ooh,
and
yeah,
she started to tell me, I recorded her, tell me Father Fire was speaking to me. And so afterwards I was like, oh yeah, I think that's my ancestor. I did like a lineage spread and Father Fire. She said, you didn't tell me about a Father Fire. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I didn't know he was going to show up in your life, but thank you for that. These male ancestors, I feel their presence and I'm really honored that you did that. And yeah, this work is good. I just, you know, we have to end this because I know you have to go, but I ask everyone this: what are you most excited about in life right now?
yes.
This is your parting question.
Oh, okay. What am I? Oh my gosh, I'm excited about so much. I'm excited about my daughter. You know, like I've got like a lot of wonderful things, you know, professionally going on, but I feel like I feel called to answer personally. I'm excited about, you know, helping my daughter to be the best person that she can be. You know, a lot of things that I didn't know that I knew that she would be facing, but not things not so early, like, you know, colorism and hair texture and stuff like that at 2 and 3 years old, because no matter what you teach them in the home, they go to school and they're with other kids and bringing different things home. And so when my daughter was about 2.5 years old, last summer, she came home and she said, "I don't like grandma's hair. My mom has a short afro." And I said, "Well, what are you talking about? Grandma's hair is beautiful." She said, I don't like grandma's hair anymore. Yuck." And I said, "Ruby, where did you hear this from?" And so she said, she mentioned one of the teachers in her school. And so, of course, I called and it was right up
Oh
there,
yeah.
like, and they were like, you know, no, she misinterpreted. She overheard something that adults were talking. I said, "Well, I don't know what y'all were saying or about whom, but that is inappropriate." And so
Yes.
I put together a mini curriculum about hair for them with little videos with songs, you know, age appropriate things about, you know, I love my skin, I love my hair, that sort of thing. And, you know, her school was open to, you know, they did a week long with these children, you know, showing them videos and songs about I love my hair and I love my skin and I love who I am and all of that. And so, you know, those kinds of things I remember, of course, with us dealing with much later, but I didn't know or expect it to be so early. And so
Yes.
I'm just excited about her being, you know, the best person that she can be. She is such an amazing little human being. And I am honored that, like you said about Akila, that she chose me, you know. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. Summertime is coming. I do her birthday twice a year because she's a winter baby. And so in the wintertime, you can't have a backyard party. So starting at 6 months, I always do a half birthday in June. So I'm excited. You know, everybody knows she's got 2 birthdays a year.
I love it, Ruby. I just love that. Yes, I love that. I spent my career working with children. That is, I have an insatiable urge and desire to always grow children and protect them from those things. That is a part of who I am. So, yes, Ruby, we love you. And your mama is the goddess. She is going to teach your teachers, okay? She's going to teach everybody how to love their skin and love their hair and just love themselves. And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that and honored that you came here to you. Deep bow to you, Goddess Abiola. And where can people find you if they want to work with you? They
Yeah.
can go to womanifesting.com. Is that it?
Yeah, so like
Yes.
manifesting.com, but womanifesting.com. You can go there, go to the menu on the top. You can get all kinds of free gifts, including a free Goddess of Receiving workbook. Also, if and when you all get your Faces of Oshun Oracle deck and you go to womanifesting.com, you can also receive a free Oshun's Honey Hypnosis and Sweetness workbook. All right. So go there, make sure that you get the free hypnosis and workbook. You can find that also on my site as well. And I'm throughout social media at Abiolatv. So Abiola and then TV like Transformation and Victory. And I've got a YouTube channel and podcast as well. So just find me in all the places. Come hang and let's do it. Oh, and I have another retreat. I have a retreat in June.
Yes.
So a retreat in June in Massachusetts at Kripalu. I haven't even started to publicize it yet, but I invite you all to come hang with me in June at Kripalu with another Dr. D. Actually, I'm collaborating with a woman named Dr. Deborah Egerton, who does the Enneagram. I invited her to come and bring the teachings of the Enneagram combined with my goddess teachings because I wanted to do something a little bit different for this retreat. And so that's going to be in Kripalu, at Kripalu in Massachusetts in June.
Well, that sounds good. That sounds like something to speak it into existence. Collaborating with Dr. Deborah. That sounds good to me. Yes. Well, listen, everyone. I thank you so much. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. And to the returning champions, I love you, thank you, and I honor you. Like and subscribe to this channel because there's going to be so much goodness coming through this. And listen, you can look in the show notes and find everything about Abiola. And there is a lot of free things that you will start with, okay? To start loving yourself more, living in your own truth, not hiding anymore. We don't have to do that. There's a shift that's taking place, and it already has taken place. And that means you. So I love you. I honor you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I can't wait to hang out with you next week. And I will see you soon. Peace and love.